Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello, Daniel. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, listeners.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you're okay. Hope you had a good festive period. Hope that the drag back to work hasn't been too painful.
If indeed you've gone back to work yet.
Maybe you're on the old long break.
Yeah.
Maybe you're self-isolating.
You might have the cron.
Like most of the country, yeah. You know that the Prime Minister's going to have to change his name legally to Boris Cronson.
Good. Good.
It's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, of course, because of the Cron and because of Christmas, not really, and because of other factors, there have been a lot of games missing.
Well, there's one factor. It is just COVID, isn't it?
And the old, we got lots of injuries as well thing.
Yeah.
But some teams are playing a bit.
We would have had to do that, Anyway. We had a couple postponements, didn't we? One of which has already been fulfilled.
Yes.
We didn't get a Boxing Day game gutted, really. That's the highlight of Christmas, really, for me.
Yeah.
Other good bits, too, but I was looking forward to that. Shame. I did nothing, I think, instead.
Oh.
Absolutely nothing. So, yeah, but we're back now.
We're back. You're back.
The January transfer window is open.
Wide open to stop, poison circulating. I don't mean poison, viruses.
Yeah, good ventilation.
Good ventilation, that's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it might blow out some of our best players and might bring in some old duffer. We just don't know yet.
We'll have to wait and see on that. Not been any confirmed movement as yet.
No.
But yeah, something will probably happen, won't it?
Maybe. What else has happened is some of our injured players, one, is not injured anymore.
Tim Dieng.
Tim Dieng back.
Yeah, back for both the two games we're about to school you on.
Yes. Nombe not back. No sign of. You know that he watched the game from his bed
he?
last night, which isn't a good sign, is it?
Really?
Yeah.
He's going to be ages, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ages. The fact that they're sort of going, hopefully he'll be back before the end of the season, isn't.
It's not a very good sign, is it?
Not really.
But...
So, would you call it So we played Sutton Saturday just gone.
New Year's Day.
Away.
Yeah. Gander Green Lane.
Lovely name.
Against the Chocolate and Yellows, whatever they're called.
Yep. And it was would you call it a shoestring side?
I would call it a shoestring side, yes.
Yes, lots of people missing.
And some new returnees back from loan.
Yeah.
Could call some back, didn't we?
So notably missing, obviously, apart from the ones that are already injured.
Yeah.
Matt J on the bench.
Yeah.
No George Ray.
Yeah.
He's COVID. Supposedly,
Is he?
Yeah. Apparently, he's just come out of isolation yesterday.
I saw that him and his girlfriend watched the fireworks of Teignmouth from his balcony, so I assumed it was such.
Right, yeah.
This is the kind of insight you can get from Instagram, Dan.
Well, apparently so, yeah. I think do I follow Jordan? Maybe I don't. We could set up an Instagram for this, couldn't we? I just can't be bothered to have another one on the go. What are we going to post?
And it's that kind of spirit that means we'll always stay bottom of the podcast charts. We've been overtaken. When we started, we were the second podcast for Exeter City. We're now the third.
Yeah, well, whatever. So, yeah, George Ray missing. And Nigel and Garner still out.
Yep.
Obviously, Hartridge and Sweeney, they're both injured.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Was Dawson playing? He was, wasn't he?
Dawson, yeah. Dawson's been a mainstay.
So we had Dawson in there. We had Dieng in there. You had Stubbs and Czech Diabate.
Yep. That's an uncommon pairing.
Starting, it is a bit, yeah. Starting centre-backs.
But it's high quality, isn't it? I could see them being a good pairing in the future.
Definitely. There's a lot of positive signs from them too in that game. Now, obviously, we lost this game 2-1. And you could argue that it might have had something to do with the centre-backs. You could definitely argue the second goal did because Sam Stubbs fouled in the box.
He didn't just foul. He, made it his absolute business to kick the guy.
Well, he just kind of comes in on him, doesn't he? It was, and also, I'm needless really, but I mean, the man's been out for a year.
Yeah.
He's having to come back in and do this. This game is a bit of this first one back. It was a bit like, well, whatever. We'll see, what can you say? I mean, we'll see what happens. It's not just us that are being, affected by the old Cron. I think Sutton had their own problems. They bound to have done. Although I didn't check, but and obviously we've got like long-term injuries anyway as well. So of first team people who start every game. So it was a bit like everyone's kind of glad to even have a match to watch.
Yep.
Although you didn't actually get to watch it unless you went. But
which 500 people did go.
Yeah. But I mean, it's strange actually because it was like they sold out officially.
Yeah.
At about 450 or something.
Yeah.
And yet the stadium was about 2,000 under capacity, which just seems mental to me. I mean, do you want the money or not? Because if people from Exeter saying they want to go, and Sutton or whoever have said, no, that's it, you've had all your tickets, and yet you can't get any of your own fans to come to the match. So it seems weird, doesn't it, to just go like, essentially it's someone going, do you want some money? And they go, nope. No, we don't.
Strange, isn't it? I mean, Exeter City, I can't think of a recent time, but certainly in the past, have given up our biggest stands if someone massive's come in.
Well, we certainly make room for people, don't we? If there is some room to be made.
You're crazy not to.
It does seem weird, doesn't it?
I mean, what's one of the main benefits of promotion into the Football League or wherever you're heading is bigger teams come in and bring in a massive away contingent.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Anyway, so it's still a good travelling. I mean, considering it's New Year's Day, and I'm not making kind of judgments, but I reckon some of those people would have been out till the early hours on the New Year's Eve, and then you had to get up pretty early to get to Sutton in time. I would have thought so. Well done. I suppose well done's one way of putting it.
Well, yeah,
it's a statement of fact. They did.
Yeah, absolutely good. And I think because it was 1-1, wasn't it? We went behind early on.
Yeah. Went behind early on. And a little bit of kind of a bit unorganised, you'd say, for that.
And that could have been to do with the new defence.
Possibly, but again, we've had no time on the training ground. That's the other thing. It's not like we've been using all this time to train and kind of stuff. We haven't had time to put these things together and try them all out. It's just sort of so. If you get two centre-backs both closing down the same ball or the same area of the pitch, it's just sort of, that's kind of bound to happen at some point.
Yeah.
And it's just whether you can get away with them or not. It's a shame we didn't get a point from that game. I think we probably should have done. We definitely should have done.
Well, we were 1-1 half-time.
We probably should have deserved.
So we got the equaliser towards the end of the first half.
Yep.
It was another caprice shot. It seems like since he scored, he realised he can shoot from wherever he wants.
Yeah.
And he's quite effective at it.
I mean, if they don't go in, but they bounce out and someone gets a tap in, like Tim Dieng did, then go for it.
Tidy finish from Dieng.
Yeah. Nice sort of... it's a difficult angle to... I mean, not that difficult, but a tap in and another good goal for him, and good to have him scoring on his first game back.
Is that his fifth of the season, I think?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, which is excellent.
Yeah.
So
also, Caprice, if he's going to cut inside, which he has to, then, might as well have a shot. Because why not?
And then you're right. I think given the way we conceded the winner, given how long we went into the second half not conceding, blah, 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 disappointing not to get the point.
I think it's disappointing. And if you take it in isolation out of the context of it's a shoestring side. Yeah. It's an old-fashioned saying, isn't it?
What's the modern expression?
Depleted squad.
Oh, nice, yeah. The depths of the I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the depths of something.
Yeah.
I was a bit. It's still under those circumstances a bit, and even more with the hindsight of last night, by the way.
Yeah.
That we didn't kind of attack it a bit more, and we didn't really kind of do much when we did have the ball in attacking areas. We didn't create many chances.
No.
And I think at the time everyone was going, well, no training, hardly any players fit.
Mm.
But then it was kind of the same. I mean, obviously we had a few more days on the training ground, but we'll come to it. But last night, night and day, really, wasn't it?
It was. I guess maybe some of it we put down to sluggishness, can't we, and unfitness, but not all of it. Here's what I'm surprised by, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, Seymour's back on the bench, right? Due to sheer necessity.
Yep.
Isn't Sonny Cox worth a go? I mean, I don't know. He might be not fit, or he might be injured, or he might have coronavirus.
Well, that's kind of what I'm assuming, to be honest, is that he must not be fit.
Because he's worth a go over Seymour, isn't he?
I would have said so. And it's one of these things where you're told at the start of the season that he's going to feature.
Yeah.
We've done all this work to keep hold of him. We then more recently signed him to a professional deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? You think just the kind of, if you're going to put someone on late on, up front, it's someone who's kind of a bit of inexperience isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. I mean, you just want a bit of energy and a bit of. I would have thought that would have been an ideal player to bring on under those circumstances.
Yeah, I would have thought so too.
But
maybe he's
yeah.
unavailable.
We don't know what
Yeah,
that's about.
yeah.
But
you're right. It petered out in terms of attacking intent, and then although it wasn't inevitable they were going to score, you're obviously leaving yourself open to a late loss if you're not pushing for the winner yourself.
Yeah.
And then a Stubbs lunge left us high and dry.
That made us that was 3 defeats in a row.
Yes.
And no wins in 5.
Yes. That's only 1 draw in those 5.
Yeah. And we knew December was going to be difficult. It was obviously made more difficult by, not being able to train,
and losing your best
not being able to
players.
play, a load of more players being unavailable. But it's an almost worst case scenario in terms of outcome, wasn't it? I mean, you can add in all the caveats you want, but the outcome is the important thing, not great.
Not great. So, I don't know about you listeners, but speaking for Dan and myself and our friends, we approached last night's game, Forest Green Rovers away, with some not small amount of trepidation about how this was going to end. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
I mean, honestly,
I fully expected us to get battered.
Yeah. They've been flying. They are flying.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their previous score in their previous game was, but they were coming off the back of that 5-5 draw with Oldham, weren't they?
That's right.
Where they were I think they might have been 5-3 up, and they ended up drawing 5-5. And so, yeah, I was thinking, they score a lot of goals. What in my head, didn't consider, and mainly this is because of the injuries and the unavailable players, but one, we've got a very good record against Forest Green themselves.
Yeah.
2, we've discussed this plenty in the past. When we play against teams who play football, and especially play football, but like kind of the way we do, we always do quite well. Do you know what I mean? We very rarely get outplayed when the ball's on the ground, and that's the kind of system. We struggle against teams that are physically stronger than us and that impose themselves on the game or put a lot of high balls into the box, things like that. I mean, that's where we struggle. So actually thinking about it, yeah, we should have done. That is,
in retrospect,
we should do well against Forest Green.
But the omens weren't particularly positive, were they?
Nah, like you say, it's like
So it was even more of a interesting lineup. Harry Kite, first time ever at centre back.
Well, second time I think.
Oh, he says in his interview. You might be right. First time ever. So
apparently he played there against Tranmere.
Well, he doesn't remember that, even if you do. So that's good work on your part.
Yeah. Well, I just saw it online.
Okay. Well, anyway, it was a rare position for him.
But what we do is we switch back, and then, so a bit on the kind of shape. I think on Sutton we did the old essentially 4-4-2, flat back 4 anyway. And then in this game we switched it back to the 3 at the back.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, like you said, another kind of scratch lineup of centre backs.
Grounds, of course.
Diabate, Jonathan Grounds, and Harry Kite. A trio never seen before, and I wouldn't be surprised if we never saw it again.
No.
But they did well.
Do you know
they did very, very well.
He's 46 years older than Diabate.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. He was born exactly 46 years later, to the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remarkable. So the stars aligned for this to happen. No, they did brilliantly.
Yeah, Jonathan Grounds is actually a very good player, I think. I think he's probably, he's in the twilight of his career. Sure.
I think he's in the midnight of his career.
Right, okay, yeah. Twilight is after midnight, isn't it?
No,
surely.
isn't twilight like dusk?
Twilight. Twilight. I don't know. The words lost all meaning. I'm just picturing that lad with the vampire teeth.
Yeah,
What's he called?
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Just picturing him.
And
I don't know what those films are really about. I mean, I know they're loosely about vampires, but
one of them's a werewolf.
right.
That's all I know.
Is it just sort of the OC, but with sort of neck biting?
The Goth OC.
Yeah.
I guess so.
What it is?
Yeah.
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 Like a Buffy the Vampire reboot, but without Nerf Herder doing the soundtrack.
Good reference. You know what you don't see anymore? Children with the first name Dracula.
Very rare, that.
Shit disappointing.
Yeah, it's a surname anyway, so...
Is it?
Yeah.
No, Count is he's like
Yeah,
prefix.
no one's called Count Peter, are they? I mean, Count is the...
No, Count's not his first name.
But
Count's like his status.
Exactly, but if you were a Count, if it was you, you'd be called... Am I allowed to say a surname on air?
Yeah.
You'd be called Count Curtis.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
people
you
have
called-
called me
you
that
wouldn't
with a little deviation before.
You wouldn't be called Count John.
Very rude.
So, Dracula is a surname, I believe. What's his name? Vlad?
Oh, yeah, Vladimir. Is he?
No, I think there's some confusion over Vlad the Impaler and him, and whether it's the same person or not. I studied this at one point at college, so I should
What course is
be able
that?
to say English literature.
Oh, not Goth studies.
I wish I'd done goth studies.
They are a curious breed.
Who's the most gothic Exeter City player?
Ryan Bowman.
Well,
if
yeah,
it turned out Bowman
by
was
default,
a vampire.
he's kind of like biologically gothic. Do you mean? But like, I meant sort of like culturally.
Culturally Gothic. Ooh, good question.
We haven't really got any, have we?
Josh Key, maybe?
Well, because he's got black hair
Yeah. I got
and he's heard of a guitar. I'd love to know if any of them are into
goth music. Any down listening to Fields of the Nephilim?
yeah, Apoptygma Berserk. Anyone listening to popping that on in the dressing room?
Lads, today's soundtrack is Christian Death.
Yeah.
I can't see it happening, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
Tisdale. If anyone's listening to Christian Death, it's Tisdale.
I think Tisdale just listens to classical, but
But like 101 greatest classical hits. He doesn't know his way around.
he pretends to.
He pretends
I wonder
to.
if we'll ever go a podcast episode without talking about Paul Tisdale.
Tisdale's like the conductor of... That's how he sees himself, isn't he? I'm less of a manager, I'm more of a conductor of a symphony. He's definitely said that before.
I reckon that's the players to call him Maestro.
Yeah, he did. Definitely did.
Anyway,
Gaffer.
what on earth were we talking about?
We were talking about the back five.
Yeah.
Somehow. Jonathan Grounds. The back three were good, weren't they? Diabate, Grounds, and Kite.
Diabate was immense.
Yeah, he was.
And I thought he was really good in that first game as well. And you know what else? Yeah, I watched the interview with him after the Sutton match, and he's just like, he's just got a lot. He's definitely confident, and I think you can see both when he's on the ball and when he's playing and when he's talking in the interviews. He's just kind of got that kind of self-belief and character as well. You know what I mean? And I think it goes so far. Yeah. And like, if you can keep that, then he's kind of. I know it's only 2 games in, but you got to say of the kind of new generation. I don't include Hartridge, people like that. They're already in there.
Yeah.
That he's kind of got to be one of the most exciting ones, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Bear in mind, we haven't seen much of the others, but you know,
it's quite a breed, isn't it, that we're building of like Ampadu, Hartridge.
Yeah, I mean, so many of them.
know.
Key, Kite, like Collins even. We'll get to actually Collins. Like, but yeah, he was brilliant. And they all were. And like Forest Green, like I said, they scored 5 in their, either last match or the one before. They scored a lot of goals.
Flying, aren't they?
Scored a lot. Yeah, they're 10 points clear or something at the top.
Oh, it's something massive.
We did really well against them. Everyone's talked about the wing-back situation, that's how they play. It's the same for us. That's all our attack go through the wing-backs when we play well.
Yeah.
It's always that way. And we won that battle, didn't we? The battle of the wing-backs.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, Kane Wilson was hardly in it, was he?
No. And I'm on record, if you want to go back far enough, as saying I thought Kane Wilson was a little bit overrated at Exeter City. But, yeah, he has been good this season. And, we did so well, didn't we? Jake Caprice.
Caprice was excellent.
Imperious.
Key was excellent. Collins was brilliant.
Yeah.
He wasn't he?
So good. I think when Collins is like good, he's just basically kind of administrating the team, isn't he? I mean, he's like sort of doing all the admin.
Yeah.
But last night he had that extra bit, which we haven't seen that often this season, which I've kind of put down to him coming back off like a long injury. Whereas this was kind of like back to his best from last season, I thought, and yeah, so good. Just like carrying the ball into the right areas to make things happen, and like, yeah, I thought he was great.
So I would say we were very, very unlucky not to win. We had a lot of good chances.
I mean, we wasted quite a few chances.
We did.
In front of us. I think we had 6 or 7 chances to win the match. They had 1.
Yeah.
Which Jamil Matt kind of doesn't get on the end of,
I
but
think
went for a corner, so Diabate must have got something on it,
And they had that free kick that wasn't a million miles away, was it?
Right, yeah. But Dawson didn't make a save, really. We had so many chances. 2 notable ones for Tim Dieng. I don't know how he hadn't scored either of them, or at least one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, one over the bar, wasn't it? And one at the keeper's feet, I guess.
Yeah.
Jay had a good one through first half, didn't he? Josh Key nearly scored first half. Look, I thought it'd gone in, it'd gone just wide.
Oh, me too. I was shouting. We were talking about when it's difficult to see with those black nets.
And it's a weird angle at Forest Green, isn't it? Because, of course, the City supporters who took up the whole side, and if we're giving credit to them for going to Sutton, there was 880 there last night.
Yeah, good
First Tuesday in January. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Basically, everyone's first day back at work.
Yeah.
All troop up there. So anyway, it's perched on top of that bit of stand, isn't it?
It's like not high enough or something,
No,
it's a weird angle. And also the goal nets are invisible.
That's because Dale Vince insists on them being black.
Right.
Because actually, he's not.
It's probably better.
He's not vegan.
They're probably eco, aren't they? Eco nets.
It's all a ruse. He's not actually a vegan, and he doesn't actually care about animals. He's one of those people that doesn't pay for animals, right? And actually, it turns out loads of seagulls fly into that net, not seeing it, and he's got a rule: if it's in the net, it's mine.
Right. So he's completely not carnivorous. What's the other one?
He's not a herbivore.
Herbivorous.
Yeah, good.
Apart from when he incidentally catches seagulls in his goal net.
Any creature, but it's usually seagulls.
Right.
And then you're talking to vampires. If you go up there late at night, you just see him there, like blood all around his chops, like eating raw seagull.
Well, I've always thought there was something probably, some sort of skeleton in his closet.
He's, you know that Jonathan Grounds was born 46 years to the day after Diabate.
Yeah.
Dale Vince was born 180 years before Jonathan Grounds. He's actually in his 2nd century.
Wow.
And he just lives off raw seagull blood.
Yeah. And not only is there no meat in the ground, there's also no mirrors or garlic.
Certainly no reflections.
If you're a vegetarian and you also can't eat garlic, you're in trouble.
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
So you heard it here first, listeners. Dale Vince, vampire.
Yeah, so anyway, we couldn't get the win, even though we probably should have done. But on paper, a draw at the league leaders away is, that's a good result, isn't it?
Absolutely. And especially after such a bad run.
Well, yeah. And we still haven't won.
No.
Since sometime in October or November. October, I think.
No, surely not. Surely
well,
November.
Maybe not. But a very good performance against a very good side.
Yep. We made them.
They didn't
look
look like a very good
No,
side, did they? But I mean, they must be. Here's what I think the difference is, and this is another old drum that we're continuing. Well, I'm continuing to bang.
Yeah.
Is that I looked it up, and Forest Green play that formation every game.
Yeah.
They always play with their wing backs because they know that's their strength. So whoever they're playing, they say we're playing this. This is the way we play.
Yeah.
And look what's happened to them. They're top of the league. When we play them at their own game, at their own ground, with half our squad missing, fair enough. They've probably got some players missing too. We outplayed them, playing the same way. Now I find it. I mean, I could be completely wrong here, but I've always thought, if we just play our own game rather than just trying to play the opposition like we did against Sutton, and I know again the context of this, but this isn't something that's just happened because of COVID and injuries. We're playing the opposition, whereas it looks like to me like Forest Green are just going, this is how we play. We've got these lethal wing backs. We've got a good striker, and you come and try and beat us. Like, why don't we do that?
It's a mystery. It's not like we're playing Manchester
Clearly,
City.
that's our best system,
Yeah.
even with a makeshift personnel.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not like we're playing Man City or it's not like we're playing. I know some of these teams are super effective, kind of like Tranmere or something who don't concede any goals and stuff. But it seems basic to me that you play to your strengths, and that's clearly our strengths. Do you know what I mean? Like we pushed Josh Key back to right back in half these matches, where
he can't do the main thing he's worth all this money for.
Well, you can see what he does. Do you know what I mean? Like, even against the best, opposition, his kind of best opposite number in the league, Haddon, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He absolutely had this number the whole game, and I just find it kind of like it's just. I feel regret at all those matches we didn't attack more.
Absolutely. The reason we didn't win last night was because we didn't finish our chances. The reason we've lost against Tranmere, for example, is because we never create a single chance.
And Sutton.
Yeah.
I know, and this is probably a bit reductionist. I don't know enough about management. I don't know anything about football or tactics. You got a question while I'm doing a podcast, but
no, I would never question.
I already am. So, but I don't know. It just seems that like that is what they do. Do you mean that's what Forest Green do? So it can't be completely mad because they're top of the league.
No. And do you know what? As we've always said, we've gone out through December or, pre-Forest Green, 5 games, 1 point, right?
Yeah.
From basically, most of those games we're playing not our best way.
Yeah. You got to look at those games too and go, like, if the Omicron wave hadn't happened, would any of those results be different? Maybe. But maybe not.
Maybe not. Like, I know we missed Nombe for a few of them, but there were some games where we had Nombe where he never got a chance himself,
Yeah.
And by playing our normal way, there might be the odd game where we get beaten 3-0. Or, well, I mean, that's about as bad as it gets, really, in this league, isn't it? 3-0. Like, we all remember was it 7-1 Chesterfield? That was 10 years ago. More, probably. Yeah, definitely more. It's worth losing 3-0 once to win 3-0 another time, and then that would be improved. That would be a better situation than we've had this month.
Yeah.
So very frustrating. Very frustrating.
I was at the end of the match, even though we were all over them for the game, they'd barely had a shot. You were thinking, don't lose this at the last.
Well, we remember the Forest Green match from last season.
Exactly, especially considering all the missed chances, And I was kind of thinking, if we lose this, I'm gonna just go and buy some petrol tomorrow from a petrol station, fill up a jerry can, and just burn it.
Just set the can on fire.
Just burn it all. You mean just like? I don't know. Go and push over a wind turbine. Buy a load of cans.
Yeah.
And then pull off the plastic rings at the top and just chuck them all in the bin. Chuck them in a river. Chuck them in a hedge.
Glue them all together.
Yeah. Just like, normally I would snip them so a little hedgehog doesn't get his head caught in it. But, nah. If they'd won that, I'd have to have done something. And that's the only way I can think to get my own back, really, on the environment.
Fair enough. Talking of, reactionary attitudes, you noticed Jilly Cooper's advert's gone from.
Well, I couldn't see it anywhere.
Whatever that ground's now called, I can't even keep up.
The fully charged new lawn.
Mental. It's gone.
Bit embarrassing, isn't
No,
it?
once you said it, I looked and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So Jilly, she's had enough.
And maybe it wasn't, it wasn't having an effect on her book sales.
Can't possibly imagine that.
Or maybe she's at the end of a cycle. Do you mean like of a novel?
Oh yeah, maybe she's
done the campaign, haven't got anything in the works at the minute, so there's no point paying out for a board.
I mean, I'd expect nothing less than top business sense from Jilly Cooper.
Well, she's managed to sustain a career spanning several decades, writing, about stable boys giving the lady of the house a good seeing to or whatever. Is that what they are?
I'm assuming so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Next time there's a wave of coronavirus, we'll just read out a Jilly Cooper book, will we?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, more on that, maybe, in a minute. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast. You can get in touch with us in all the normal ways, of course, on email bigbankpod@gmail.com, on Twitter @bigbankpod, and we're on Facebook as well, the Big Bang Theory podcast. Let us know which of us you'd like to narrate which role, which of us is going to be the stable hand and which the lady of the manor.
Yep.
Let us know.
The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. Maybe we'll do a Twitter poll.
Maybe.
So it's weird. Obviously, there's been lots of cancellations and switching around of games. There was never going to be a game this Saturday, I believe, because Harrogate are in something else. Is that right?
Well, that would be the FA Cup, won't it?
Is it? Is that what it is? I suppose so. So City are now playing in the Papa John's this Friday against Portsmouth.
Friday evening, yeah?
Friday evening.
Yeah,
At
so
St James
Danny
Park.
Cowley was at the match last night.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, having a watch.
Having a what?
Having a watch of
Oh.
us. And, you know, maybe some of our players. There's been a sort of speck of a rumour, aren't they, that they're interested in Matt J, Portsmouth, for
Oh,
a
really?
little while. Maybe he's there looking at Key, I don't know. Like,
I mean,
he might end up coming.
Portsmouth's
He might
full
end
of
up coming
keys,
away
isn't
with.
thank you.
He might end up coming away with, you know, Jake Caprice in the January transfer window.
That would be
yeah.
remarkable. Hey,
Or he's bought a, you know, great new centre back, Harry Kite.
of course, we will see Jack Sparks back this week, won't we? His loan at Torquay ends. His
Okay.
Short loan.
Right, is that definite? He's not sticking around there
Well,
for a bit longer.
He might.
He scored a goal there.
He did, yeah. The
Yeah.
date I was given was this week. We were all given it. I got
No,
exclusive.
you were given the date.
Jack likes to keep me up to date with all
Right.
these comings and goings.
Oh, directly from Jack Sparks.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
okay,
It's the kind of connection.
Not from one of your Torquay United contacts.
I wouldn't sully myself with a Torquay United contact.
No, fair enough.
No.
So maybe we'll see Sparks.
Maybe
I
we'll
don't
see
know.
Sparks. Maybe Caprice will go to Portsmouth for £1 million, and Sparks will come in and fill the void.
Maybe.
Apparently, there was some scouts there watching Josh Key last night from Sunderland.
Oh, yeah.
That
okay.
doesn't worry me, Dan. And I'll tell you why. They already offered money for him, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So
But they might be getting a bit more desperate now, maybe.
they're doing very well.
Are they?
I
I hope he doesn't go, but I mean, it's been sort of alluded to that we can't buy anyone unless we maybe sell somebody, or that might change if we, you know. But that's, you know, that's we were looking at loans, but obviously the loan market has basically collapsed
Yeah,
because of
everyone's
Omicron.
losing players all over the
Yeah,
place.
so you don't want to loan anyone out, you know.
You know it's bad if Chelsea are complaining about not having a big enough squad, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the transfer updates. And that might be it. And like we said, we've got Portsmouth on Friday, and then we've got no game until Saturday week. So if there's some sort of transfer news, then maybe we'll do a podcast next week.
Yeah.
Because in normal times, we wouldn't just do one just to cover one Papa John's game.
Certainly would not.
But if we can bolt something onto it, like we've bought, you know,
Yeah.
Gary Mabbott, then we'll do it.
Top signing. I don't know. It's frustrated me, Taylor saying that. I find him a frustrating man when sometimes we're looking for just a bit of a ray of sunlight. And he said that before the Forest Green game, right? And you're like, we're in the absolute having a nightmare here. Just say, well, we're having a look. We won't bring someone in just for the sake of it. Just say that, Matt. That's fine. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Because we've lost our very best striker, who presumably is taking a significant part of our budget, and then, for all we know, Amon might go back to Newport.
Yeah, possibly. I'm not that. I wouldn't be. I'd be a bit surprised if he did. I just don't reckon he will now. But
I'd be surprised too, but
we to be honest, we needed one anyway.
we need someone.
We don't just need. You know, Amon's a good player, but I mean, I think we've seen in the last couple of matches that he's maybe not someone who can lead the line effectively for us at this point in his career. Do you mean, or at least we're not in that, you know, in the options we have. You know?
Unless they got big plans for Sonny Cox, and maybe with a few training sessions under everyone's belt for the new system, you know, maybe Cox might be coming off the bench.
Hope so.
I mean, it's quite a good schedule now, isn't it? If Cox was to play in the Papa John's and it worked out, you then got another week to build on that.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
And I thought Giovanni Brown was excellent last night.
He was. Yeah. Yeah.
And if there's a way of Cox and Brown working together,
Yeah. Hopefully, I think again, Giovanni Brown benefits from us playing
Yeah.
with wing backs.
Oh, absolutely he does.
Because that's what he does.
Him and
isn't it,
Caprice worked really well
Yeah.
together. Did you see, was it last night? I think it was. And there was like a double back heel. See that? Caprice back heel to Brown, Brown back heel to whoever ran around the back, Collins or someone.
Back heels all over the place.
I mean, it
Was it the game before? Jonathan Grounds played some sort of back-heeled through ball.
remarkable.
Yeah. Very good.
You know, so in a way, if we do stick to the 3-5, whatever you want to call it, and we do find a way to work without Nombe, I don't see a problem for us picking up some points. It's when we play 4-4-2 and we haven't got that player who maybe with one chance could make something amazing happen.
Yeah, and you're trying to play Giovanni Brown up top on his own or something, you know, like it's not the same, is it?
No, it's not the same at all.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, this topic came up on the X-Web forum. It was about the lack of items for sale in the club shop.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
And on the club shop website as well. And just generally the lack of any merch.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of like, I mean, I don't go in there that often. And also I wouldn't necessarily, I would buy some things. I think Christmas highlighted it.
Yeah.
Because people are thinking, look, someone I know loves City.
Loves the Grecians.
And they love a bit of merch. And also Christmas presents. You don't know what to get for people, so you get them something that, you know, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's the perfect thing.
Perfect thing.
And yet it looks like, I mean, basically there's nothing for sale.
Yeah, I know.
Either online or in the shop. There's just nothing. And it's just like, we talked about this before about items of merch as we'd like to see. And I think we were thinking too far afield, really. I think, you know, they haven't got anything.
Well, my daughter and I went in the last home game, and she wanted a bobble hat or any kind of City hat, and I said she can have this, and there was nothing except Father Christmas hats. This was before the game, and I was like, well, let's ask. I bet they just haven't put them out yet. I bet there's been a rush. We literally got the last bobble hat in the whole shop, and that was before. When was that? Mid-December.
Yeah.
Even the 19th or something. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Nothing.
There's got to be a reason for it. I'm not saying like that it's any kind of negligence on the part of the club or the shop or whatever. It won't have escaped their attention that they haven't got any stock. But there must be a reason for it.
Is it COVID/Brexit?
Yeah, maybe. But then
other places have got stuff for sale.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't done this already, have a look at what Argyle have got for sale on their online club shop. You can buy literally anything.
Can you?
They've got like about 4 or 5 different types of Plymouth Argyle watch.
Have they
for
really?
Sale yeah, everything. And it's just like there's these places now. Like there's these online. Like, I don't know if this is a thing that we could even do, but just like for example, there are merchandise kind of like vendors online where they don't have your stock made up. Do you mean they just advertise a mock-up of what it would look like, and they just print it to order?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
And the old Etsy Redbubble kind of thing.
The Redbubble, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. You know, like, I mean, maybe that's not the right route to go down, but I don't know what is. But it just seems like the whole point of selling merchandise is you make a profit off it to make some money, and we just like, why have we just not done that? You know, like, it seems utterly bizarre to me.
I mean, football fans don't want the world. I mean, honestly, if they sold Exeter City watches, my mind would be blown.
Any old tat, any old tat would do, and it would sell because you've got kind of. Well, I mean, at Christmas time, you've got kind of kids buying a present for their old man, you know. So they're not expecting like, oh, this is a bit shit. I mean, they're like, oh, thanks very much, that's great. I'll put these Exeter City sunglasses on for 5 minutes, you know. But the club's made a bit of money in the process, you know. And like, I don't know, it just seems weird.
Well, they got pants, haven't they? And that seems to be it.
They
got boxers, and that's it. But that's an outside company. Honestly, that was the only thing in there. There was the kit, and then there was boxer shorts.
That's so weird.
Yeah, very strange.
Someone had posted in the same thread that they'd had I don't know who this was or when it was, but there was an Exeter City cravat. I had a photo of it, and I didn't know if this was kind of like Tisdale
thing.
merch.
Yeah.
It looked older than that.
Wow.
It looked like maybe it was from the times when people just genuinely wore cravats. You know, like
when Jonathan Grounds was in his 30s.
yeah, back in the the roaring 20s, or whatever, pre-war.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, Dan. And the people of X-Web, no, whatever that thing's called, X-Web are right too. It's
Like there's so many
act.
talented people around the club. It's quite obvious, you know, with some of the kind of like stuff that's produced, that you think someone could knock together a couple of T-shirts or something. You know, like people don't, like you said, the expectations aren't like, it doesn't have to be Rick Owens' new collection like standard. You know, like, or like, oh, this is like, it's just got to be anything with an Exeter City badge on it.
Yeah,
you know, it's just something.
Interesting. Okay. Well, listeners, if you know what's going on, let us know. We'd love to know. Maybe it's all waiting in the same place as the scoreboard.
Well, there some news on that, wasn't there?
Oh, was there?
Isn't it kind of due to be up in March now?
I believe it. Honestly, I'll believe it when I see it.
No, there was something. I can't remember what it was. There was like some hold up with like literally like the building materials for it or something. Like
Right.
I don't know. We got the screen, but we haven't got the metal to hang it on the bracket or whatever it's going to be. You know.
I mean, that is annoying when you get home from town and you realise you bought the picture frame, but you forgot the nails.
Oh yeah. So
Same
annoying.
kind of thing, I suppose.
I thought it came with batteries.
Exactly that. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back at some point, definitely after Scunthorpe at home, if not before. If there's any hot transfer news, well, you won't be the first to hear it here because it's, you know, we're getting the same info you are, but we'll talk
and
about it.
I'll be honest,
here.
if you absolutely flood us with correspondence
Yeah.
of all kind of types and everything like that, then we'll just have to do an episode.
Yeah.
I mean, and then maybe you want to hear about Portsmouth away in the Papa John's
Portsmouth at
Cup.
home, isn't it?
No, it's away, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe you want to hear about that, and so if there's enough demand, we will do one next week.
Yeah, but you know, we're not hostage to fortune. You got to make it happen, listeners.
Yeah, well, yeah, or if no one gets in touch at all.
It's home.
Oh, is it?
Portsmouth. Yeah, there you go. So you can go to that if you want, Dan, on Friday night.
I'll be honest, I probably will go to that, actually, yeah.
And then it's Scunthorpe at home the following Saturday. Then it's Walsall away. Then we're into a bit of a pattern again. Hartlepool at home, Swindon away. And
Yeah,
so
that's Swindon rearranged for the end of March, isn't it? So
yeah, that's
the fixtures do get on paper, a bit easier from now. We've kind of like had our little kind of like December of doom. But yeah, all right.
It's worth saying, isn't it?
This is worth saying.
Yeah.
So at the start of the season, we did this predictions competition.
Oh yes.
I was like, for anyone who's made it through this to the end of this episode, and
congratulations,
and you entered that competition, the prize is a one of a kind. Well, not quite one of a kind, but never made again.
Yes.
Big Bang Theory podcast scarf.
I mean, that is what a prize that is.
Yeah, exclusive.
Tell us about it. Describe it to the
So it's a
people.
red and white scarf, highest quality imaginable. Surprisingly high quality, I'll say, when I ordered these.
Yeah.
German made, like all the best cars.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. And on the back it says Big Bang Theory podcast, Big Bang Theory on one side,
Yeah.
and then the other side says "Thank you very mate," which is a reference that's quite niche. I won't go over it again.
You can go back. You can find that episode if you want to, and you'll know all about it.
Yeah. So if you win the predictions competition, and I know it's not for a bit, you'll win that scarf. I'll try and put a picture of it online, but it's hard to photograph a scarf.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll put that. I'll find a way.
Remarkable.
Yeah. So you'll win that, and
I mean, that is a top prize.
like I don't know if there's like some massive. If we put it up and go, oh, I love these. There's a massive clamour for people to buy them.
Yeah.
Then it won't be the same as that one. That is going to be an exclusive for that prize.
Okay.
But maybe we could order some more sort of similar things.
I mean, let's be honest. The club shop's playing right into our hands there, isn't it?
I mean, they are really, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start doing boxes. No, that's the one thing they do. Women's underwear.
And that's
Big Bang Theory podcast bra and panty set. Coming soon.
Sure.
Get it for your missus.
Get it for
Or
yourself.
maybe you're a woman yourself. Or maybe you just want it. There's absolutely no judgment here.
It would look nice down Budley.
Yeah. Or just frame it like people frame kits, you know? You know, like you have the framed kit in your walk. Just be this framed kind of underwear set. Get it signed by you or I, if you like.
We could do 1 cup each.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's taking a turn. Thanks for listening, everyone. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.